Hi guys, I'm back 2 days in a row. All right, there's just one story I want to talk about tonight, and it's a huge story, and it's super important. And of course, it's being pretty much completely ignored by the mainstream media. But this story will get bigger, and hopefully, will start getting picked up by other places. Anyways, True Pundit, which is a source that I love and I trust. They do amazing reporting, and they have done reporting on Pizzagate, child sex trafficking, elite pedophile rings. They broke stories before the election on about Anthony Weiner's laptop, and they were the ones that actually broke the story about Anthony Weiner's laptop and how on Anthony Weiner's laptop there was a life insurance file in that laptop that has evidence proving, sex crimes against children involving high-profile individuals such as Hillary Clinton, Uma Abedin, and many other elites. And the NYPD police officers that saw these videotapes and, files on Anthony Weiner's laptop were so horrified by what they saw that they were physically ill, and some of them needed psychological help after seeing the videos that they saw. And I believe that to be 100% true, not just because I trust True Pundit and their reporting, but because I've talked to other people who have sources and other people who are in the know, some very good sources who have backed that up and backed those claims up to me directly. So I believe that story is 100% true. And there were contents found in Anthony Weiner's laptop that prove the child sex trafficking and the sexual abuse of children involving people such as Hillary Clinton, Uma Abedin, and actually, unfortunately, many, many other elites. So today, True Pundit broke this horrible, horrible story. It's so tragic and it's so sad. And the headline is, Investigative journalist found dead in D.C. hotel room weeks after reporting Bill Clinton to FBI and DJ. Wait, sorry. Let me start over. Investigative journalist found dead in D.C. hotel room weeks after reporting Bill Clinton to FBI and DHS for allegedly raping boy. Okay, so yesterday I was on Twitter and someone messaged me and they tweeted me a tweet that the way it was written, they were implying that they had heard that investigative journalist Liz Crokin had died. And, I get threats constantly, all the time, weird stuff happening to me all the time. So I'm thinking that this was possibly a deep state troll or someone trying to scare me. And so I responded to them saying that I'm alive and well, thank you very much. And the person did reach out to me and say, I'm sorry. This is that way. I worded that the wrong way. I wasn't referring to you. I was referring to another investigative journalist, and they were, I believe, referring to this investigative journalist. So this investigative journalist who was a cop, her name is Jen Moore, and I was actually following her on Twitter, and I can't remember if what interactions I may have had with her. I can't remember any off the top of my head. I follow a lot of people, but I was following her, and she's a former cop, and she was working with a 26-year-old man who claims that he was raped by Bill Clinton on a yacht when he was a young boy. And she with the boy reported this to the FBI and DHS. Now, she was just found dead in a hotel room in D.C. due to an apparent seizure. The story doesn't say who's saying it's a seizure. I don't know if it's cops or the medical examiner or what, but I mean, I can guarantee you she probably didn't die of an apparent seizure. They can make it look like she had a seizure, but I guarantee you that she did not die of a seizure. I can't tell you how many mysterious deaths I've covered, and these evil people, these deep state operatives, they have ways to kill people very easily to make it look like a seizure, to make it look like a heart attack, to make it look like something natural. Andrew Breitbart, who we know was one of the first, if not the first person to expose John Podesta and Hillary Clinton's child sex trafficking ring. Then we had reporter Monica Peterson, who was exposing the Clinton Foundation's involvement in child sex trafficking in Haiti. She died a mysterious death. Then we had Senator Nancy Schaefer, who was exposing child sex trafficking within the court system and CPS. Her and her husband died a mysterious death. I believe they claimed that was a murder-suicide, which is total BS. And I reported that Congressman Steve Scalise, I believe, was targeted because he was exposing child sex trafficking, and thank God that he didn't die, but that shooter who shot him intended to kill him. So he is so lucky that he is alive, and it's no coincidence that when Congressman Steve Scalise was shot, he had just released a PSA on human trafficking and sex trafficking, and he'd been an advocate for human trafficking victims. And furthermore, after Congressman Steve Scalise was shot, a lot of people don't know this, what did the Democrats send him? They sent his staffers pizza. Isn't that hilarious? We all know what pizza stands for. We all know what the symbolism of pizza is. Child porn, for those that don't know. All right, this is so awful. Okay, so this 26-year-old man claims that Bill Clinton assaulted him at a private sex party attended by other DC elites. And this, just everything that I've learned from my research, this makes perfect sense. These people that rape children, that sacrifice children, that spirit cook, they drink blood, do all kinds of crazy, disgusting things. They do these things at parties, and they do these things in rituals. These people are Satanists. They worship Satan. So when they sacrifice a child, it's not just a bunch of people getting drunk and sacrificing a child. They are doing an actual satanic ritual. They are sacrificing a child to Moloch. So they get together in groups and do their creepy rituals, and they do witchcraft, and they terrorize children. They take adrenochrome. They do all these crazy things together. So the fact that he's saying that it was at a private sex party in DC, attended by other DC elites, that doesn't surprise me at all. Okay, so weeks before this investigator died, she filed details of the alleged victim's claims with the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI. This was beginning July 6th through the July 9th. Okay. So then they contacted Thomas Paine from True Pundit. Paine did a series of face-to-face interviews with Moore and the alleged victim. He found the victim to be credible, despite the fact that he was very traumatized. Paine said the allegations were credible, and the victim's testimony and details were beyond convincing. And I trust Thomas Paine. He's good. He's smart. I trust him. He's a great source, and he's very thorough. Okay. Moore accepted the risk with the story and understood things get very ugly fast. Her conversations with True Pundit's Paine. So she obviously knew the danger that she was in by reporting this and working with this, alleged victim. Okay, so apparently, gosh, this is going to turn into such a big story. Apparently there are other victims waiting to tell their stories, and this first victim knows the other victims. And this first victim can name the other victims, okay? So Moore was concerned because he was the first to break the ice. So the assault happened allegedly on a yacht in New England. And he knows the identities of several other child victims who were subjected to identical abuses. The victim also confirmed he witnessed other children, people being sexually and physically abused, and possibly worse. I can't imagine what could be possibly worse except sacrificing a child. I don't know what could be worse than physical and sexual abuse. I don't know if I want to know. And there were multiple boat parties. These parties were attended by elite members of DC political class. Okay. So this victim, Thomas Paine, like I said, he's really thorough. He actually, within his story on True Pundit, that's up, it's on the front page of True Pundit right now, and there's supposed to be a follow-up that comes out tomorrow, by the way. He includes text messages from Jenny to him, and in her text messages, she says, "You would be talking to an extremely traumatized young man. He shakes while he talks about these events. I will help him through the PTS part, but I wanted you to know." Payne says that during the interview, the victim sporadically vomited and shivered as he recalled details of his alleged abuse. I mean, God, I feel sick just reading this. This is so awful. This is so awful. Oh my God, this poor man, this poor woman that is now gone. Gosh. Okay. First of all, someone who has PTSD from a sexual assault, I can tell you that I don't see how anyone could fake throwing up, the shivering, the vomiting. You can't fake that. When you have PTSD and you are a traumatized person, that's almost impossible to fake. So the fact that this person is reacting this way by talking about the sexual assault, the fact that they're physically getting ill talking about these events and remembering these events, that makes me think there's a good chance that this person is telling the truth. Furthermore, Payne says that he found this person to be extremely, extremely credible. Okay, so anyways, this is obviously a really huge story. This is Pizzagate. This is Pedogate. This is what I've been trying to expose for 2 years. This kind of stuff happens all the time. These elites get together. They go to their spear cooking dinners. They go to their yacht parties. A lot of them have private yachts. A lot of them own islands. They go to these islands where they have underground facilities, underground bunkers. They go to places like Napa Valley. There's tons of places in Los Angeles. There's places, up where Oprah lives, in the Santa Barbara area. A lot of these homes have underground facilities. A lot of them are in more rural areas. They love their boats because there's more privacy. They love their islands because there's more privacy. So when they are literally raping and torturing children, people can't hear them because they're far away when they're in a private island or when they're in an underground bunker or whatnot. And these underground facilities, they exist everywhere. And a lot of these elites, what you'll find is that they have homes next to each other. Harvey Weinstein and Hillary Clinton had homes next to each other in the Hamptons in New York for a few summers. So, and side note, by the way, guys, Harvey Weinstein today was accused of sex trafficking. So, more and more and more is starting to come out. More worms are starting to come out of the can. And that's what these elites do. They go to these creepy parties. They have these private parties, and they have these private estates and private islands and whatnot, and private boats where they all get together, and they engage in these horrible, horrible crimes against children and adults too, and it's awful. This story is just, it's so sad, and this is it's hard for me to cover because this is, this could have been me. And I, based off of the tweet I read yesterday, I thought that someone did believe that I had died. And so that was a little creepy, and, so it's really scary. This, Q talks about how this is not a game, and, clearly it's not a game. This is war, and, people are dying. And God bless this woman that was trying so hard to expose this. I'm praying right now for the safety of this victim. And I'm hoping that what they do and what Thomas Paine does is encourage him to go public. Because when you kind of operate behind the scenes, and if you're not really loud, if you don't have a big following, then you're less of a target. When you're operating behind the scenes, you're more of a target. when you're loud like me and you're public and you're, I've made videos stating that I wasn't suicidal and whatnot, like those are the kinds of things that help keep you safe. But, if these people get wind that there's a victim that is thinking about going public, then they will possibly try to kill you before you get a chance to go public, or they'll try to kill, the journalist that's working on the story. I've been working as a journalist, before I left the MSM, I was working as a journalist for 2 decades. And I've tweeted about this before. I was doing a story. This is when I first really started waking up to the fact that the Illuminati was probably real. And this was back in 2012. But in 2012, I was doing a story with one of Jay-Z's mistresses, and she was going to do an interview with me about how she had an affair with Jay-Z. And the next thing I know, a day after I talked to her, she ends up dead and died a mysterious death, or they claimed it, the medical examiner claimed it was, what did they say? Aneurysm or something. The girl was 28. She had no health problems. She was fine. She was healthy. And, what other sources told me is that after she agreed to do a sit-down interview with me, I was told that she called Jay-Z and said, if you don't pay me, then I'm going to do this interview. And within 24 hours, she was dead. And that was when I first realized, oh my Lord, the Illuminati is real, and people get whacked left and right, and this, covering these kinds of stories are high risk, and they're scary, and they can get you killed. So, this stuff is real, and it happens all the time. And like I said, we had Andrew Breitbart, we had Monica Peterson, and we had Senator Nancy Schaefer and her husband all get killed. They all got killed. I believe they all were murdered for exposing sex trafficking. So it's really scary. I was out last night, and I was followed last night. I was out with a girlfriend, and there was 2 people following me, and it was very weird. They were casing me, and and it could have been random. It could have just been a coincidence. But when you're constantly followed, and this is the kind of work you do, every instance can't possibly be a coincidence. And so, it's scary. It's really scary out there. So I don't know, you guys. I just hope that this victim is protected, and I hope that this victim has protection, and I hope that this victim goes public soon, because I think that will help protect this victim. And unfortunately, this is just one story, but this is going to be very common. We're going to start hearing many, many, many stories like this. And this victim allegedly knows many other victims, and also knows what other elites were at this party. So, this one victim could expose, this one victim could probably name dozens and dozens of elites that are involved in this as well, who have, been involved in the raping of children and, possibly worse things, as the story says, but we don't know what those worst things are. I have a pretty good idea, though. So anyways, I wanted to talk about this because no one's talking about it, of course. You're not going to get the mainstream media. And by the way, I believe that some of those elites that were at this party that allegedly took place, I guarantee you that there were many elites there that work in the mainstream media. Guarantee it. And that's why we see the entire mainstream media covering up for elite pedophile rings, child sex trafficking, and Pizzagate, because a lot of them, not all of them, there are some good people in media, but many of them, unfortunately, I believe are involved in this stuff, and some of them openly talk about how much they love Comet Ping Pong. We know what goes on there. Jake Tapper and his wife, it's their favorite restaurant. Greta Van Susteren, she loves Comet Ping Pong. It just blows my mind. Even if there is no child sex trafficking going on at Comet Ping Pong, that place promotes pedophilia. That place promotes child rape. That place jokes about child rape. That place has bands that come and performs there and makes comments and jokes about child rape and pedophilia. Like, how could anyone, like any establishment, whether it's a restaurant or a clothing store or whatever, that promotes pedophilia. Like, that's, I'll never understand that. So how someone like Jake Tapper and his wife, Greg Van Susteren, can say it's so great, it's a great family restaurant, when there's literally satanic symbolism everywhere, and, you know, the owner's Instagram page is just sexualizes children, and it's disgusting, and he uses not just pedophile code words, he uses open pedophile words, such as chicken lovers, which means a gay man that wants to have sex with a little boy. Just, I'll never understand that. Never, for the life of me. So anyways, True Pundit is going to be doing a follow-up story on this tomorrow. So I will be posting that. Maybe I'll do another video tomorrow. And I'll be doing a follow-up. And just one more thing I wanted to say. I was getting some, I always get slack, but I was getting some slack tonight from people. Like, I was getting some slack tonight about how, you know, someone was saying that I don't name enough names. I used to work in Hollywood, and I should name more names. Well, first of all, there is something called libel laws, and the names that I do name are names that I firmly believe are people that are involved in pedophilia, okay? You can't just... Now, if you're a victim and someone raped you, you can name that person. Or if you witnessed someone raping someone else, yes, you could name them. But it's really hard to name someone off of rumors, all right? What I do is I analyze allegations and the evidence. You know, we're seeing tons of elites in Hollywood, you know, celebrities who have a history of child rape tweets and pedophile tweets, such as Chrissy Teigen and Rainn Wilson from The Office. Okay, so, you know, I analyze all these things and think, all right, well, they talk about pedophilia, they talk about child rape, and they use the symbolism, and, you know, there's maybe this allegation against her, or maybe that one, and then maybe I'll feel confident enough to, you know, name a name. But, you know, if I hear a rumor about someone allegedly being a pedophile, I can't just regurgitate that, because there are libel laws. That would be defamation, and I would never want to accuse someone, you know, of that unless I was certain that they were involved in this stuff. And the only names I do talk about are the ones that I am certain are involved in this stuff, okay? You know, so I was getting some slack for that, but I was also getting slack tonight from people saying that I don't break enough stories, that I'm just, you know, regurgitating open source information. Well, that's actually true. Right now, this year, I have focused on exposing the stuff that's already out there and talking about open source information. And, you know, which is the stuff that Q encourages us to talk about and to expose. And Q says you have it all. Really, all the information that we need to expose this stuff is already out there, because a lot of these people that are involved in this stuff have already been convicted of child sex trafficking, or there's already allegations out there. There's been lawsuits, you know, like Jeffrey Epstein. But I'm an investigative journalist. I became a journalist because I love investigative journalism. And, you know, I got my first serious news job when I was still a teenager. So don't get me wrong. I love investigative reporting. I have taken a step back from doing my own grassroots reporting, because my life has been in such danger. My life has been in so much danger that I've had to take a step back from all of that stuff. From 2016 and all last year to all of 2017, I broke story after story after story. Exclusive story on Clinton corruption, exclusive stories exposing the corruption in the mainstream media. I broke multiple stories on child sex trafficking. You know, and these were in mainstream media outlets like The Observer, Town Hall, and I did multiple exclusive stories on Seth Rich and the truth about his murder. Let me tell you what happened to me after I broke these exclusive stories and went viral. When I did my first big story exposing Clinton corruption, within 24 hours, my dog got poisoned. He went into anaphylactic freaking shock. He almost died, okay? His heart almost completely stopped. My dog, you know, I don't have any family. I mean, I do have family, I have parents and everything, but I don't have any immediate family. I don't have a husband. I don't have children. My dog is my life, okay? He went into anaphylactic shock. He couldn't breathe. His heart almost completely stopped. He was vomiting, foaming at the mouth, and defecating at the same time, and he looked dead like this. It was the most scary day of my life. The only reason why he survived is because I was with him when he went to anaphylactic shock. I rushed him to the animal hospital, and we were able to save his life. I got him there fast enough, okay? I knew before he actually went into anaphylactic shock, once my story in the Clintons went viral, and a lot of really powerful people with big followings, people like James Woods were retweeting this story, okay? When this story started going viral, I just intuitively knew. I was like, oh no, this isn't good. I had a horrible feeling, and I knew that they were going to do something to me. I knew they were going to try to hurt me, possibly try to kill me. And to this day, I'm pretty sure I know how they poisoned him, and I think that poison was intended for me because, by the way, I feed my dog human food. It was the only thing in my fridge. So, anyways, so that happens, okay? And then so I took a step back for a few months. Obviously, that freaked me out. And then I started doing stories on child sex trafficking, and and then I met with people that were going to be doing a documentary on Pizzagate. And the day I met with them, we were followed, and I ended up getting beat up that night. I mean, things have gotten so bad with the stories that I have broken, and things that the stories that I have done, investigative journalism I have done. I have taken a step back from that because I don't want to end up dead. I don't want to end up in a body bag. I don't want to be, part of the Clinton body count. And it's amazing that I've managed to survive. It's amazing that I'm still alive to this day because, I've kind of pushed the envelope. I've done stories that I know pissed off the deep state, and then I've taken a step back for a few months, and then just it's so ingrained in me to expose this stuff and to be a journalist. So I always go back and I expose child sex trafficking. And then last time I was doing a lot with Seth Rich, and every time I broke a big story, just crazy shit would happen. I have been physically attacked. I've been physically beat up. My dog's been poisoned. I've had to flee the country. I've been followed. I've been targeted by cops. I mean, I don't even want to talk about all the things that have happened to me because it doesn't even sound, it's so crazy and unbelievable. It doesn't sound real, but I've just had some really horrible things happen to me. So, that's why I've taken a step back from, really doing some hardcore investigative journalism, because at this point in time, I know that President Trump is going after these people, and I know they're going to be exposed. So why put my life in danger to expose these people if they're going to be arrested? I firmly believe that they're going to be arrested in the next 2 months. It's more important for people like me and for you guys to be red pilling people. That's what Q wants us to do, is to wake people up, to red pill people now, so when crap hits the fan and these arrests happen, there's not civil unrest. There's not mass chaos. And that's what my role is now. And that's what I feel comfortable doing. And, there's a lot of investigative journalism I'd love to do right now, but I don't feel comfortable doing it because I know it puts me in great danger, and I'm already in danger. I was followed last night. It's like, it's not fun. It sucks, actually. So, don't give me crap for, I've literally given up everything to do this. So, guys, geez, what have you done? I'm not saying you guys, I'm just saying the people that criticize me. It's like, I've lost so much. I've lost my career. I've lost so much money. I'm not making money doing this. I can't even afford to pay all my bills. So, I've lost so many friends. It's disrupted my whole family. It's been a freaking nightmare. It's been a freaking nightmare. So, that's why I've stayed away from the investigative journalism. The world's going to change soon, though. In the next few months, I truly believe we're going to see the mass arrests. I believe we'll see them before November 11th. And after November 11th, when these mass arrests take place, the world's going to be a different place. It's going to be a completely different place. And I will be able to get back into investigative journalism at that point if I want to. I believe I'll be able to do it and be able to get back into investigative journalism without the fear of being knocked off, okay? But, when I'm getting criticism because I'm not, exposing enough people, or I'm not, doing enough investigative journalism, to expose these pedophiles, I'm only using open source information. It's like, today's not the day to criticize me about that, considering that someone who also is an investigative journalist just got killed for trying to expose this, and, for helping this victim. So it's just, yeah, it's really scary, and it's really sad, and it's just, my heart goes out to Jen Moore and her family. It's so sad. It's scary. So these people can't be taken off the streets soon enough, and it will happen soon, God willing. But until then, you guys, please pray for this victim. Pray for his healing, and for him to have the courage to go forward and go public as soon as possible, and most importantly for his protection right now, because he's in grave danger, and so are all the other victims, that he knows. So please pray, for him, for all the victims, all the children, and all the people that are on the front lines exposing this. This is a spiritual warfare, and I do pray every day, and the prayers help, and they keep me safe, but, it's still very scary to cover this. So, anyways, that's all I have for tonight, and, check back with me, and check back, still on Facebook jail, but check back with my Instagram and my Twitter tomorrow, because as soon as the story is posted on True Pundit, tomorrow I'll be tweeting all about it, and maybe I'll do another video tomorrow as well. So, alright guys, I hope you all have a good night.